So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to this episode of DB Presents
Underground News.
the only news you need to know. We like to touch and communicate on everything, so you won't see shows every day because there's so much that comes out. We like to cover it in a broad spectrum. So, Brandon,
Yes, sir.
how was your day?
It's been amazing. Nice blue
like it.
skies.
Yeah, I was following up on your post. I was following up on the Live for Today post.
Yes.
Looks like you're having a lot of fun.
Yes, definitely. When I get time in to be able to put up little videos, I do on the Live for Today channel. Yes, sir. Nice and beautiful days.
So tell me, how'd the new look come about? I'm really loving that look, and I'm kind of jealous because I've been bald since I was in my early 20s. Well, you've known me since I was in my early 20s, and you know I was already bald.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. I just wanted something new. I've done this a long time in the past, but normally I'll get bored of it and I just shave the whole thing off. You know, I get the Dan haircut, and then it just go. You know, don't like to stay at one thing too long. I get bored quickly.
No, I hear you with that, and that's like a keystone of what we do. So I'm sitting up here Sunday in South Texas. You know I'm in South Texas now.
Yeah, South Texas.
So I'm only an hour and a half away from, maybe 2 hours away from the border.
Okay.
I'm sitting up here, I'm watching the news, and I see now you have the Mexicano cartel shooting across the border at Border Patrol. Border Patrol did not return fire, which was, I think, very wise of them. Nobody got hit, don't return fire, because you're going to go to prison.
Mm-hmm. It's an act of war.
Well, the one thing that got me, right, is that I did not hear anything that same couple of days, right? I've not seen anything on the news. Well, Fox News, of course, right?
Yes.
I didn't see anything on CNN, you know, with Donald Lamont discussing this. Our Border Patrol agents are under literal gunfire and nobody's saying anything.
No, they're keeping that as hush hush as they can. But if they talk about it, then they have to do something about it. If they acknowledge there's a problem, then they have to act. And they don't want to act.
Exactly. And I think you hit the nail right on the head. It's, how do I put it? It's, you have this issue here which you're not going to deal with. So now you have our Border Patrol agents getting shot at by Mexican cartels. Now you have Dan. It doesn't take very long to drive 2 hours at all, because Texas measure distance in hours, right?
Okay.
A 2 hour drive is nothing.
No.
It's right up the road. It's like, so now what are you going to do? Now the Mexican cartel is shooting at Border Patrol places, and it really didn't surprise me because, let me tell you a story, Brandon.
Okay.
I had this friend named Sean. He was a union, statewide union officer or leader. I was a local union officer. And he went and petitioned and staged a protest outside of ICE in Seattle.
Okay.
And I had another friend, which is called O, who worked at that very same ICE facility. And he was like, dog, you don't even want to know what's in here. You don't even know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with child sex traffickers, murderers, people who butchered families. But see, they can't wrap their little itty bitty heads about that. So this really came as no surprise to me that nothing was done because no one wanted anything done. They wanted this to happen.
Yes, they absolutely do want this to happen.
One of the things I said on the Dan Dawson show, right? When they stripped Border Patrol with their horses. It's like, you've never been to this part of the Rio Grande. There are places cars can't go,
No,
and you need a horse.
yeah. Horses, they're able to do many more things than the car can do. They can get into tighter places and, go up hills, rocky terrain. They can go through water. There's all kinds in muddy areas.
And to refuel a horse, you let them eat and drink where they wish.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, it's like a, how do I put this? I'm trying to put this in the correct mindset state. It's, you know what? I just got to put it out there, Brandon.
Okay.
It isn't an incident. It's not a mistake. It's deliberate. It's the deliberate destruction of the United States of America.
It is, absolutely. They don't want America as it is. They're trying to change it into something completely different. And I think it goes far beyond anything we can imagine that they're trying to do. I mean, because it's not just happening in America, it's Europe, it's Australia, it's on a global stage. This isn't just happening in America, it's the whole damn world that is happening on. So in Canada, I mean, it's everything.
Well, have you seen all these riots around the world?
Yeah, they're going to town.
They are. It's Australia, it's France, Rome. Oh my God, Canada.
And you don't really
People
hear
saying,
much
no, we're
about
not
it.
going to do this.
They're keeping that quiet. They don't want people to know that these riots are happening all around the world because they want you to think it's just us and not anything else. And they want us to think it's just a couple of us. They don't want to know it's that many, how widespread this is.
Well, I'm seeing all these riots, and if you name a big city around the world, there's probably a riot happening.
Yes.
It's like, wow. The only difference, though, is now if you notice, and this goes back to the Border Patrol stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's connect this back. Say Dan decides to buy a ranch an hour and a half south, which you could actually get probably. Whew. We saw one that was 250 acres. It was an hour and a half south down by the border, but the price was with the house, 2 houses, 4 fishing tanks, all that stuff, right? It was $129,000.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah. Now say Dan has to protect his property. Well, you know what Dan wants? Dan wants an AR-15. So if you take that back now, if the Mexican cartels are already shooting at Border Patrol, what do you think they're going to do to a civilian?
Oh yeah, they're going to slit your throat and burn your house down.
Yeah, so I want something that packs 100 rounds. I want 100, or you get the 50-round drums and they're connected together and slam it into an AR-15. Now you got 100 rounds. I want that. I need that. No,
bigger.
Right? Well, the 308 might I recommend is a good weapon. I have one. It's a great weapon, but it cycles a lot slower than the AR-15. So if you're engaging close in targets, hey, I say the AR-15. If you got to reach out and touch somebody, I say it's the 308.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, if you got to reach out like a mile, 308, you got to go out over a mile and a half, then definitely do a 338 Lapua.
But you're not going to need that. You're not, I mean,
you might. Well, think about it. If you have 150 acres, a mile and a half is nothing to defend your property.
But how long does it take to hone in on your target and get one target and then move to the next target and get that target? And especially if these targets are not stationary, they're going to be moving too.
You're definitely going to need a spotter.
You're going to need something. You're going to need
You're
something
a spotter
with a high amount of firepower with rapid deployment.
Well, see, this all ties back to the Biden Department of Justice, right?
Yes.
Because they're saying you don't need these weapons.
Well, that.
Well, clearly you do, even if it's not an illegal immigrant or a drug dealer moving across your property. Wild hogs.
Yeah.
Bro, we have these wild hogs down here. They're humongous.
Yeah, we got them here in Florida too. They're all over the place. They come right through the neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they got wild hogs all over Florida. They just walk around and they'll tear up your yard and yeah, they're everywhere.
Oh, brother, our wild hogs down here are killing dogs and shit. And it's like, I'm not shooting that thing with an AR-15. There's no point.
No, he's just gonna laugh at you.
Yeah. So I use my 308. Even from close distances. But it ties back to the department or Biden's Department of Justice saying, we don't need this. You don't need these weapons, blah, blah, blah. All you need is a double barrel shotgun. Number one, Biden's an idiot. You know, hold up, I've been wanting to do this for like a week and a half. And let me say, everybody, this is Dan. That's Brandon.
Yes.
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Yep. That's exactly what's being said. Let's go, Brandon.
That shit just killed me. I've been wanting to do this for about a week. But
believe me, I get on a daily basis multiple people sending me this picture. Let's go, Brandon. I had to look it up at first. I was like, what the heck are they talking about? And then I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
You saw the videos.
Yes.
The interviewer was like, they're saying, let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, where is that? Let's find that real quick. That's freaking hilarious.
Oh, it made me laugh so hard, man. It made me.
Just because I know there's a few people that haven't heard this.
Well, I was like, this has to be on the show.
Here we go.
Thank you to all of our partners.
Oh, it's a race.
Oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang back those first two stages and just watch and learn.
Can you hear by the crowd? They're saying, let's go, Brandon. Wow.
It's insane.
It's hilarious.
But as we move on from that and just following along the Joe Biden Department of Justice timeline, now you do understand, right? You're a parent, you have small kids. My kids are old. Well, my kid is old. I only have the one. And then I have my puppy Zoe, who works on my show. She's a producer.
Exactly. I got my cats to make sure that we're following suit.
Well, I'm telling you, you have to have those workers, right?
You do. I mean,
and they contribute so much. It's just you have to have them.
Yeah, exactly. Look how much work she's putting in.
Well, she looks very exhausted.
I know.
Yeah, she's been working very hard. But as we transition over, now we just talked about how you have the Mexican cartels who, I'm just going to say it, they're in league with the Taliban, they're in league with China. You have them transitioning over into shooting at Border Patrol agents. So in that same week, the Department of Justice comes out and says, parents, right? You have younger kids.
Yes.
My kid's older. The parents who don't want their kids being taught critical race theory, because I don't care what race you are, the ability to survive or fail or succeed is on you.
Yep. Has nothing to do with race anymore. Maybe back in the day, yeah, sure. You
know what? Brandon, honestly, I don't even know about back in the day. I know several Black people who were wealthy from my small little town. It was about having the mentality to survive and having the courage to push through. So I don't even know about back in the day. Yeah, there were roadblocks put in our way.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's true with everybody. But what we have now is if you don't want your kid being taught critical race theory, because Brandon, honestly, I've never physically met your son.
Nope, not yet.
Yeah, I think he's a cute kid though. I watch you all, I see you all the time on Facebook. I don't think he was born a racist just because he was white. And I've known you for a great many years.
Yeah.
And I never thought you were a racist just because you were white. And I never thought I was oppressed. If anything, I thought I had too many advantages. Because life always came kind of a little easy to me. So I thought I had way too many advantages. But if you don't want your child being taught, hey, if you're born white, you're an oppressor. If you're born black or brown, and now I'm hating that, the black or brown thing, you know what? I'm a Texan, leave it at that. Because America's falling, so I don't even know if I can say I'm an American anymore. I don't know if I'm gonna fly the flag. If I'm gonna fly the American flag, I might start flying it upside down because it's falling. But I never believed in that. And I watched this YouTube video, Brandon, of a mother, and she's reading a book from her kid's second grade class. Brandon, this book was so sexually explicit. I'm like, can she even do this on YouTube? But the Department of Justice, when parents stand up and say, I don't want my second grade kid, what's a second grade kid, 7, 8 years old?
Something like that, yeah.
Being read this, now they're domestic terrorists, but right down the road from me, you have the Mexican cartel shooting at Border Patrol agents, but Border Patrol agents are the problem.
Fucking bullshit.
Tell me how you feel as a parent of a young kid. I mean, it disgusted me. Like I said, my child is grown. She's 24. Well, she'll be 24 in January.
Yeah, you never stop raising your kid though. But I know, simple thing is, if they ever try to put that on my child will not be going into the school. I will homeschool my child because I'm not gonna have my child bombarded with nonsense. They're in school is supposed to be math, writing, science, history. They stopped doing that one a long time ago because kids don't even know about what happened with the Nazis and German, all that stuff. They don't seem to know anything that's happened back then. And Oregon says you don't even have to take a test and pass reading, math, and whatever to graduate. But you got to know.
California just did that too. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that. So it's expanded. So you don't have to know how to read, write, or do math, but you got to know you can cut your penis off and be a woman. That's what's important.
Well, it's one of the crazy things. It was I was looking at it, and I saw this YouTube video of an educator, one of the nationwide union leaders, right? And she said, yeah, the kids might not have learned how to read and write, but they know a peaceful protest from a riot. And it's like, our kids are being indoctrinated.
100%.
And now you have, I've never met your wife.
No, not yet.
But she's a mother bear.
Yep.
And so I can't imagine this would sit well with her. And I know mine. When she was raising her boys, she'd probably be in prison right now. She's still being Gitmo.
I get excited over things. My wife is like up here compared to me. You don't mess with her kids. She will fucking go off. Me, I'll say, you know what? I just won't have my kid attend your school, and she'll be like, you know what? We're gonna fight.
Well, you know what? Actually, I'm glad you said that, because have you seen these teachers when they think nobody's looking, when they think the videos are off? I saw this today on YouTube, and it was on Fox News, right? It was on Laura Ingraham.
Yeah.
And she was playing these videos, and it's teachers when they think that the camera's off, and they're saying, I told that student, if your parent wants to come here and try me, let them come. I'll fuck them up. And it's like, okay, so apparently you've never met my wife or my sisters. You're gonna get an ass beating.
Right.
And it's this 5 foot nothing, can't carry a bucket, a pail of water type person. And it's like, you're talking shit? Oh no.
Well, you know, that's what went wrong. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, if you talk shit to somebody, you better expect to get fucking smacked. It's gonna happen. And you did that knowing you might get smacked, and you could smack them back and you'd fight, and then it'd be over. But nowadays, everybody's so, you know, freaking keyboard warriors. They want to talk shit without the risk of an ass whooping.
But no, and you're exactly right. I'm glad you said that, because I guarantee what would happen. This teacher, I don't know what school district I was in, skinny little chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, if a parent saw that and showed up and smacked her in the face, the first thing she's going to do is call the cops.
Oh yeah, and that person's going to go to jail for possibly a hate crime.
Well, if Garrett or Maryland had his way, but which was another thing. I saw this, right? So the critical race theory. So Brendan, let me tell you a story.
Uh-huh.
I want you to see if this is ethically sound. And we're good friends, right?
Yeah.
So you can tell me if this is ethically sound of me, right?
Sure, give it a try.
So here I am. I control a great part of the nation.
Okay.
So my son-in-law has a business that teaches critical race theory. You follow me?
Yep.
And so when parents say, no, we don't want our kids taught critical race theory, knowing my son-in-law is making millions and millions of dollars, in some counties, $150 million. Counties, not states, counties, right?
Oh.
Well, I think what I should do, and I just want you to advise me on this because I could be wrong. I think what I should do is send the Department of Justice to crack down on those parents who are stopping my son-in-law from making millions and millions of dollars. I don't know, Brandon, what do you think? Do you think that's, you think I'm being ethical?
I think, well, we all know that they don't, ethics classes do not pertain to the rich and powerful. The ethics classes are for the opinion, the little people after the rich and people screw up. You know, they screw up and we get to take the class.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to, and that's what's going on. Merrick Garland, who sent the DOJ after these parents who are going against critical race theory. Now, keep in mind, they're not just going against critical race theory. They're going against mask mandates on kids, which Sweden just came out with a study that shows how harmful masks are to kids, grade school kids, right? They're going after the sexually explicit content. They're going after schools having sexual predators dressed up as trans women, right?
Mhm.
In the classroom. They're going after all this. But Merrick Garland wants his son-in-law, it's always follow the money. Merrick Garland, his son-in-law, is making a lot of money because his son-in-law owns one of the companies which is backed by Facebook, of all people. Facebook, Brandon.
Well, Facebook's just as guilty. Johnson & Johnson is funding the fact checkers for the virus of vaccine things.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. It's insane.
Yeah. So yeah, no, well, let's just take the Johnson & Johnson. Nothing to worry, there's nothing to see here, and they're just going to pay millions of dollars to fact check the efficacy of and the safety of the virus. I mean, the vaccine. There's nothing wrong about that, Nothing to see here.
It's so corrupt. It's so corrupt. It's insane. And when you look, Trump was the last bastion. I really think. He did a disruption. That's why they had to get rid of him.
Oh yeah.
They had to. I was really surprised because of the disruptions he's done
Mhm.
that he wasn't assassinated.
Oh, if he would have been in for another term, I think they would have offed him.
I
But
agree
you know
with
what?
you.
But you know what? I think the whole another reason that they didn't is because that would have been throwing a firecracker into a freaking dynamite place. It would just explode because people would be like, "You killed Donald Trump. You killed our president," and it would be very bad very fast.
So what you're saying is his popularity probably saved his life.
Yeah, I'd say if something were to happen to them, people would automatically know it was the deep state. And even if it wasn't, they would assume it was the deep state. And that would be bad. That would be very bad.
Well, you know what, Brandon? We're on the cusp of a peaceful divorce, I guess you would call it. Because I was looking today, well, I guess yesterday, no, this morning. Governor Abbott put an executive order. I'm start calling him President Abbott, President of Texas.
Yes.
But he put in an executive order where it's like, with the vaccine mandates,
Mhm.
it's like if you're a Texas entity, if you're a Texas company, private, public, doesn't matter. He made it illegal to do the vaccine mandate. He made it illegal. And that's not the first time, that's not, I know your guy down there, DeSantis.
Yep, DeSantis.
Yeah, he's a maverick too. But Abbott, with the, you can't enforce vaccine mandates, and then remember earlier, he said, hey, not gonna be any mask mandates. And then he pretty much told the ATF to go fuck themselves. Because now in Texas, you can make silencers, and as long as you sell them in the state of Texas, you don't need a tax stamp. So for those people who, oh yeah, it's big. So for those people who don't know what a tax stamp is, so to get a suppressor, which if you're using an AR-15 or a pistol for your house, get a suppressor if you can. But the tax stamp adds another $225 onto the price of a suppressor. Some of those suppressors are less than the tax stamp. But if you're gonna be firing a gun in your house, you're not gonna have time to get up and put on earplugs or headphones, and then go and clear your house. It's just not gonna happen. So what Abbott did was said, yeah, no, screw you. We're not listening to the ATF anymore. You can go kiss our ass. And I know DeSantis has done it. I'm glad you pulled that up. Let me look at it.
Yeah, right here.
DeSantis goes forward law regarding vaccine related. You know what? And DeSantis is another one. I think the winning ticket would be DeSantis and Abbott.
Yes, but then we'd have to worry about who would take their place.
That is true. Yeah, yeah. We actually would. Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary to me. I mean, I know they'd be great for the nation. Well,
Maybe.
maybe. I think we might have gone too. This country might have gone too far apart.
Expound on that, because I agree with you, but I want you to expound on it.
Well, I think that the right has gone too far right. I think the left have gone way too far left. And I don't think there's enough middle ground to keep it together. I think Washington, Oregon, Idaho could potentially become their own country. I think
You mean Eastern Washington?
well, that's yet to be seen, right? But I think they could go off. But even the East Coast Democrats are way different than the West Coast Democrats. The way that they act is completely different. But then you got the central states and you got the south states that kind of think with their head and they're willing to go off on their own.
No, while I agree with you, even down here, the major cities, Houston, Austin, Dallas, right, are liberal, and it's insane. It's so insanely liberal. Austin demonetized their police force. They defunded their police force by up to $150 million. And now they're saying, well, we don't have police to answer calls. So they came up with a thing. And this was something that struck me because this happened before I left Washington, Seattle, when they defunded their police force, came up with a thing called 311. I get down here, and just this week, Austin comes out with a number called 311. And it's for if you're not directly under attack. And even if you are directly under attack, the average police response time down here is 12 minutes. You know what responds faster than 12 minutes? My Glock 19.
Oh, here it is. 311 is a non-emergency number that people can call, many cities to find information about services, make complaints, report problems like graffiti or road damages. Even cities where a different number is used, 311 is generally recognized as a non-emergent phone system.
Now it's being used for burglaries.
For burglaries?
Yes, and assaults.
At
And remember,
311.
in Seattle now, sexual assault is no longer a crime.
Wow.
Think about this, right? You and your wife could be out in Seattle. You could get hit in the head with a brick. She could be sexually assaulted, and it's all a misdemeanor. And people aren't arrested for misdemeanors anymore. So with all that going on, nobody gets arrested.
Maybe praying the cops would get to them before I did.
Well, I'm telling you, that's, you know what? I call it the pendulum, right?
Yeah.
That pendulum is going to swing. And so when ordinary citizens, right? Yeah. When ordinary citizens get tired of taking shit off these criminals, as you've already seen, we've had the highest number of gun sales this year over any other year. And it's October. It's almost twice. And it's October.
Right. Well,
Regular people get
gotta
tired
get ready.
of shit.
People got to get ready.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things is you have to be able to hold up in your house,
Yeah.
but you're going to need a food supply.
Yeah.
Luckily, you're prepper.
Yeah. Well, because things are, if you go to the store, you got to notice that supplies are becoming more and more limited, and at the single moment that someone talks anything about a shortage of this or a shortage of that, is gone. People go in, they buy it all up, and you can't find it.
Especially with
Toilet paper, refrigerators, freezers, gasoline, meat.
Now follow me on this, Brandon. You know what I was thinking about getting?
What?
A bidet.
Okay, that's a good idea. If you got flowing water, but yeah, it's a good idea.
Hey, you brought a really good point there. I hadn't even thought about that.
If you got running water, it's great. Save you a lot of money.
I'll give me a bidet.
Yeah, what is it, like $60?
Yeah, I think it's like $50, $60. Yeah.
Yeah, ask splash your 5,000, you're good to go. It'll work. It'll work.
But so I said all that to say this, right? We're in a position to where, if you look from where we came from, it's the Department of Justice isn't paying attention to what's important.
No.
To me, what's
You paused.
important is keeping my family safe.
You got to read.
That's the most son protected.
You're glitching out.
How's it now?
It's better now.
All right. I just moved my computer like 2 inches. Anyway. So I said all that.
A Wi-Fi.
So I said all that to say this, right? If you look from where we've gone to, a person in my situation, I'm only a couple hours away from Del Rio. Not that far, right? You have Mexicano cartels shooting at Border Patrol agents. And then, on top of all that, if you look at the pressure placed on top of Americans, right? On top of all that, if I go to my kid's school board meeting and get upset about what my kid is being taught, then I could be labeled a domestic terrorist. Now, let's add that to the fact that we have a supply shortage.
Mhm.
It's dwindling. It really tends to stack up on Americans.
Yeah, it really does.
The average American, could you imagine at this point being a parent in, hell, not even Del Rio, let's say Houston or McAllen, Texas, or one of the California or Arizona or New Mexico border towns, or even Florida? Because you can't tell me immigrants aren't coming into Florida.
Oh, they're getting bussed over here.
Oh yeah, and they're spreading them throughout the country.
Yep.
I was watching. We both watched Tim Pool,
Yep.
and Tim Pool was saying, I don't know how true this is, and I'd have to check it out for myself, that because of the number of migrants being bussed into Texas, Texas has to be awarded another seat in Congress.
I can believe that.
Think about how crazy that is. How many people that is.
Well, you
Texas
know,
is a humongous
that's how
fucking
they're
state.
trying to take. They're trying to increase the number of seats. They're trying to increase their ability to take control of the Senate and the House of Representatives.
Yeah, but see, I think the trick on them is they push so far that average everyday Americans, I mean, Nicki Minaj, Kyrie Irving, Dave Chappelle, and I want you to witness the importance of those names I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not only former liberals. Remember, Dave Chappelle came out with a scathing show on conservatives, what, just not a year ago, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Scathing to the point to where I was like, I'm not listening to any more Dave Chappelle shit. Fuck him, right? Nicki Minaj, I'm like, I'm not listening to any more of her songs, even though I never heard one besides Wild,
Yeah.
because it was everywhere. I never really listened to the full thing. Kyrie Irving, I never was a big fan. But I'm like, no, I'm not, no. But they're all black liberals. So what I'm seeing now, right? There was a mother, and she was talking about critical race theory. And she was a black woman. She goes, the only answer is to take our kids out of these schools, because you're not going to teach my kid that because they were born black, they're a victim. And because my friend's kid was born white, he's an oppressor and he's evil and he's a racist. We have to have a mass exodus from the schools. And I say the best way to do that, get rid of school property taxes. Even though here in Texas, it's like,
Get rid
because
of the
they
teachers
still say
union.
the Pledge of Allegiance down here.
They need to get rid of the teachers union
I so much agree with that.
because they're the ones that are causing all the pushback. They're the ones that are calling the DOJ. It's the teachers union, and we need to go after them.
I completely agree. It's gotten ridiculous. It's, if you look at the teachers union, whoo, these are the same people who said we can't work during COVID, we can't do this, blah 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 blah. And kids have to have masks. We need this. And they really stunted kids' educational growth.
They don't care about kids' education. I mean, the teachers union is just like a lot of other unions. Some unions are good, but a lot of times what the unions do is to keep around the crappy workers that can't get a job anywhere else, you know, so they stay there where they can't get fired no matter how shitty they are. And the hard workers that get tired of, you know, only getting as good as the crap workers end up leaving. You know,
I agree with that. And it's almost like how would I say, a determined thing where you have this teachers union, this national teachers union. And understand there's more than one national teachers union, but this one seems really in bed with the liberals, because they're the ones pushing critical race theory. Because it's not being taught in every school district, just certain ones where this union is prevalent. I say we defund them. You know how we defund them? Like, no, you're not going to get a raise. No, I'm sending my kid to private school. And so one of the big complaints I saw from liberals, I'm not even going to say liberals, I'll say the liberal media.
Yeah, there you go. Liberal media.
Yeah, the liberal media was that what DeSantis is doing in Florida
Mhm.
with school choice might lead to a nationwide change.
Yeah, Trump was doing that too. More charter schools, allowing people to take their money, their government money, saying, you know what, this is for your child's education, and that adult saying, you know what, I think my child should go to this school over here instead. That would move a lot of things right there.
Oh, it changed a lot of things because then you can't just sit back and be a crappy superintendent or a
Yeah.
crappy school.
You know, another thing
gonna
would
have
work
to pay-
is right to work.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay attention to your district.
Yeah.
The how do I put this? You would have to pay attention because now you have to fight for those dollars. Now you have to compete with charter schools, private schools, but they don't want to have to do that. It's just money hands over fist. And it really reminds me, and it kind of angers me now, because I love teachers. Hey, some of the most transformative people in my life.
Oh, I don't blame the teachers. I don't blame the
Yeah.
teachers. I blame
The teachers union?
The union has. We were part of a union.
Yeah.
How many times did our union leadership above us, because I was, you know, I worked and shit, they say, you know what, we're going to do this, this, and this, and this. And as soon as we said, okay, we went with them, then they turned around and they completely did the exact opposite. It did what the management wanted them to do.
Oh, several times. You know, that was one of my big reasons for leaving the union.
Exactly.
Well, remember that same union we were a part of, I'm not going to mention any names, sued me.
I didn't know they sued you, but that's pretty awesome.
They sued me. It was so funny. I've said that there. The judge goes, it was over some stuff I said. He goes, the judge goes, okay, you say he said this, this, and that. Did he lie about any of it? And nope, the courtroom went dead quiet. Nobody said shit. Judge banged his gavel, said case dismissed.
Did he lie about it? They couldn't even say no.
They didn't even say everybody just went quiet. Judge sat there for like 3 to 5 seconds and he's like, case dismissed. But no, that's what unions do. I think you can't judge the members by the actions of the union leaders.
No,
Is what I would like to say.
I think unions are important. I think they used to be even more important. The problem is with a lot of these unions where you're required to join the union, the union's like, well, why do we have to do anything if they're just going to give us their money anyways? They can't turn us down or they won't have a job.
I actually agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, the union needs to fight. You know, everybody says, well, you're the union. Well, yeah, you're the union if they allowed you to do anything with it.
If they don't sue you.
Yeah.
So it was a few years ago, and I was a union secretary. I was talking to my little sister. I was home visiting Texas, right? And we're sitting on her front porch talking. And you know, we had very limited. You know, Washington was you had to be part of the closed shop.
Yep.
Texas is open.
So it's Florida.
Yeah. And she was like, hey, I was like, well, we get like 60, 65, study had just come out. I think we got 62% participation in the union. She was like, oh no, we get, they had just had one come out. They were getting 97%. And I couldn't figure out, like, what the hell? She was like, well, you got to figure when cuts come through, union members are the last ones to go. And that's when I first came up with the thought that maybe being a closed shop isn't such a great idea. Hey, if you want to work here unprotected and get let go of any time, you go do it.
That's the way it should be. just like people, you know, you shouldn't force, because once you force them, they're not going to give a damn. It's when, you know, their choices end up screwing them over. Then they're like, oh shoot, maybe I should have done this, or maybe I should have done that, or exactly, you know.
Well, no, and I agree with what you're saying, and I actually understand what you're saying. What you're saying is, and I think about this all the time, in Washington, you're forced to be part of a union. So no matter what, you have union protection. In Texas and Florida, you're not. So if something happens when you first start a job, now you have to weigh that. It's like, do I want union protection? Usually the answer is yes. You might want that union protection.
Yes.
But in Washington State, you don't need it because, hey, no matter what, the union's going to protect you. That was one of our biggest issues up there when I was a union officer. It's like, no matter what, I have to go, and it doesn't matter if Brandon's paid his dues every year for the last 20 years, and Mary Sue over here has been a member or has worked there for 20 years and isn't even a member of the union. I got to protect them both the same. When in states like Texas and Florida, it's like, what, Mary Sue? You're not a member of the union. Click. Well, that gives me more time to dedicate to your case
Exactly.
instead of splitting my time between two cases.
Well, and hopefully, if you're in one of those situations, you're actually a good worker and you rarely need the union for representation. The representation should be there. I mean, for wages.
Depends on what kind of job you do.
That is true. That is very true. I'm thinking labor work, not like police and working in psych hospitals and other places where you're gonna have all kinds of accusations made against you for
Oh, it's
no
crazy.
reason.
I've had accusations made against me on days when I wasn't even there. It's like, I didn't even work.
Exactly. Exactly.
I tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I'm thinking, I can't think of too much else. There was some other thing we were talking about. I can't remember.
Well, we covered the Merrick Garland thing, right?
I don't know. I wanted the Southwest Airlines. They had 2,000 flights canceled over the weekend. The the Southwest Airline is blaming it on the FAA, saying that the towers were not working properly, and the FAA replied to them saying, "You know what? No, we only had an issue on Friday. Saturday and Sunday had nothing to do with it." And the talk is the vaccination mandate is causing a bunch of employees to go on strike.
You know something crazy about that? It actually ties back into the whole Texas thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Southwest Airlines is based out of Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. And this Abbott has already said, hey, you can't declare vaccine mandates. He already put out his executive order, to which Biden never did. The Biden just came out and made an announcement, which is another thing that drives me crazy. This guy just says stuff and everybody runs with it. But yeah, I saw the Southwest thing, and it was really kind of confusing because I'm watching all this stuff, and it's like I see pilots coming out and saying, no, we're not walking out. We're coming to work. I think one of the big things was Southwest has always been kind of suspect as an airline, right?
Okay.
I think they just got low on pilots. And so what happened is pilots can only fly a certain number of hours per week. And so my personal theory is, I could be wrong on this, I probably am wrong on it, is they just got so wrapped up in getting flights off to where they just ran out of pilots. There was nobody to fly planes.
Could be.
Well, because I'm not going to believe that there was the storms.
No, there was no storms.
Yeah. If you're flying from Houston to Arizona, what storm? I just can't believe that was the real issue to cancel that many flights. I mean, what's it say here? 2,000
2,000
flights
flights over the weekend.
over 2 days. Think about that.
Yeah, it's insane.
No, I think they just got wrapped up. Their pilots are exhausted and can't fly anymore. It's like, you know, my older brother was a cross-country trucker. I have a brother, Marvin. He's a cross-country truck driver. They can only drive a certain number of hours per day. Pilots are the same way. They can only fly a certain number of hours per week. And so I think they just got caught up, and there's a pilot shortage because it's not one of the main career fields anymore.
No, it's not.
Remember when me and you were little kids? It was what? Policeman, firefighter, pilot.
Pretty much. And train conductor.
What?
Train engineer.
What?
Toot, toot.
Okay, so that one didn't hit my top, but soldier,
What am I?
you kind of caught me off guard.
That's funny.
Even then, the train engineers, that's another thing you got to think about. Think about how many goods and services are transported by air, truck, and train.
Oh,
And we just hit on a very key topic there. Those aren't in little kids' top interest anymore.
nope, they're not. Well, shit, half the people nowadays they're not willing to work that many hours anymore. That are
You know
required
what?
to do those jobs. Those jobs require long hours.
To tell the truth, I'm not even gonna lie about it. You've made those drives yourself, cross country.
Yeah, a couple times.
I could not be a truck driver. I was telling my older brother that. He was like, "Oh yeah, come down here, get your CDL, and drive trucks, and you know you'll make great money." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I can't do that."
I've done the over the road truck driving. Yeah, no, I've done it enough, and I don't do it anymore because there's too much unpaid work that I'm not willing to do. Because there's a lot of stuff you got to do. That's work that you're doing for a company that don't have to pay you for that work, and I won't trade my time for free. I'm worth more than that.
Oh, when I was driving cross country, I stopped at these truck stops, right? And these guys are getting out, they're checking their load, they're doing their inspections.
Yep.
I know you gotta load. Sometimes you have to load yourself.
Sometimes you do.
And it's like, I think you're driving through this traffic, and it's like, no. I've
Yeah.
talked to truck drivers who, on a complete accident, have had to put people into the wall. That's why I hate those little cement walls on the highway. But back to what we were talking about, you look at those three things are major to the United States carrying on. Nobody wants to do them.
No, well, we can't. Yeah, nobody wants to put all that time into it, and it's absolutely necessary for the United States because the United States is so huge.
Oh, it's humongous. I don't think people realize how big that's why it tickles me, right? When people compare places like Sweden and Norway to the United States, I'm like, those states aren't even as big as Texas or Florida. Those countries aren't even as big as Texas or Florida. You're talking about the United States as an America.
Yeah.
I don't think until people drive it, they don't realize how big it actually is.
No. Yeah, I mean, you look at like the size of what is it, United Kingdom or England. You know, the United Kingdom is about the size of Washington and Oregon. You look at Germany. Germany is smaller than Texas.
A lot smaller.
Yeah.
I was actually stationed in Germany. It took me 4 hours to drive across Germany.
4 hours. Wow.
Yep. We were in Vilsek, which is down by, it's in southern Germany. It's down by the Czech Republic. So it's right on the border. It's about an hour away, right? Maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes, right? To go across Germany took me 4 hours. It takes me almost 6 hours to drive from College Station, Texas to Dallas.
Yeah. Well, what other country or people call countries in other parts of the world? We call states in the United States.
That's the best way to put it. Yeah, it's I don't think people realize that we need our infrastructure for which when they were talking about the infrastructure bill, roads, it's like you're not going to fix this.
No, they're talking about tree equality. They're going to take a couple $1 million to go tree equality because the pines are getting fed up with the maple trees. I mean,
Well, you know what, Brandon? It's about time that the pine trees and the maple trees were on equal footing.
you know what?
The pine trees have been oppressed way too long.
It's the maple. They're dealing maple.
They think they're the shit because they got syrup.
Exactly. They're dealing with the sticky. Yeah, it's crazy. The world's crazy. And it's the whole world.
Man, I think everybody's lost their effing mind. I look at the stuff and you know what? We could actually, honestly, just on the stuff that comes out on a daily basis, if we had all the time in the world, we honestly could do a 2-hour show a day on the craziness.
Oh yeah, there's endless supply of stuff to go over.
Well, like today when we were talking earlier, right? It's like we didn't even touch on really anything. We didn't touch on the James Bond movie. We didn't touch on here in Arlington, Texas, right? It's like a suburb of Dallas, right?
Okay.
The school shooter who got out and his mother throwing him a party for welcome home. He shot 4 people because he was getting bullied. You know what you do when you're getting bullied? He was driving a 2019 Dodge Charger. Now, Brandon.
Wow.
Yeah, his mother brought him a 2019 Dodge Charger.
Life's rough.
It's hard for him. It's only a 2019. I couldn't be seeing anything less than a 2021. It's like, what the hell? It's like, what the hell? You know what my car was when I was in high school?
What?
A pair of Sauconys. Because I walked to school.
Jesus.
It's like, really, really. We didn't touch on that. There were so many issues. But honestly, we could do the show for the next 6 hours and not touch everything.
No,
I did, however, see the new James Bond movie, Brandon. Take your wife with you; she'll love it.
Okay.
It was a great movie. It actually wasn't like everybody's portraying it about it being SJW.
What is SJW?
Social Justice Warrior movie.
Okay.
It was like a traditional James Bond movie. Now he's become an action figure and a wannabe John Wick.
That makes sense.
Even though just between us, I think that's been going on for like the last 2, 3, 4 movies or so. Even though just between us, John Wick could kick his ass in about 30 seconds. But I don't know though. John Wick is pretty cool. But go see it. It's really a great movie. It doesn't have any of the SJW stuff. Remember they were saying, oh, they made a black woman James Bond. No. They gave her the designation of 007. I'm not going to say anything else about that because it's too much of a giveaway.
I'll watch
Too much of a giveaway. You have to watch the movie. We didn't cover the Dave Chappelle special because Dave was right. Think about all the stuff we've been on for how long now?
I don't know.
Couple hours?
Hour and a half. About.
Bro, we didn't touch on, we could do this show for another 4 hours and not touch on any of the stuff that needs to be touched on.
Easily.
The Dave Chappelle special. Have you seen the Dave Chappelle special?
Yes, watched day before yesterday. It was great.
I told you it was great. It was amazing. And what he was saying was true. And the most heart-touching part for me is at the end when he's telling the story about Daphne.
Yep.
It's like,
He talked about Daphne before in another show. I remember it.
I didn't remember it. It's not that blown away by Dave Chappelle specials. But this one was raw and it was heartfelt. Bro, we didn't talk about Hunter Biden's biggest a humongous grant or loan. The second biggest buyer being a Chinese diplomat. We didn't even touch on that. We didn't touch on the fact that there's still Americans sitting on a tarmac in Afghanistan. When you think about how much stuff is being put out on the news, if we were doing this show 3 years ago, we would have to do the whole show about Donald Trump hurt somebody's feelings on Twitter. Think about this. Bro, we could do this show literally till 10 p.m. tonight.
Easily.
Easily.
Every time we woke up in the
Not
morning, we
cover
have
everything.
all new shit.
Bro, think about it. We didn't cover we covered the Merrick Garland thing. Bro, we didn't talk about China owning all the lithium mines in
Afghanistan.
northern Africa and Afghanistan now. They own it. It's theirs. We gave it to them. And we armed the Taliban to help hold it for them. It's like we didn't even get to anything really. You think about how long we did this show, an hour and a half of straight talking. We didn't even touch on a lot of the topics. We didn't talk on defund the police. We didn't talk about how Chicago crime rates are now through the roof. We didn't talk about Chicago or about the Supreme Court trying to overturn New York and California's anti-gun bills, right? Their gun control bills. We didn't talk about Chicago trying to call in the National Guard to help them. There's so much things, so much is going on. I don't think people get it, right? We kind of touched on the food shortage supply, shortage of supplies, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't really honestly talk about it.
No, we
And
didn't.
we've been on the air for almost 2 hours. And it's like, it's so much fodder out here for this. It's like, I really hope people understand what's going on and don't make the same mistakes. We didn't talk about the riots, peaceful protests. I'm taking a note from the left on this. We didn't talk about the peaceful protests going in Australia, Sweden, Norway, England, Canada, France, liberal cities here in the United States. We didn't talk about any of that. And it's just so much going on. I just hope that people, if nothing else, take from my show that this is what's going on. There's a lot going on. And anywhere you can pick up a news source, you need to. Honestly, I don't even watch Fox News anymore. I don't watch CNN. Now, I was forced to watch CNN earlier today for a show I did over on my other YouTube show. And it hurt me. I didn't think I was going to make it.
It hurt you personally.
It did. We didn't even talk about demasculinization. When now you have grown men crying on TV over stupid shit. Brandon, here's the thing. If you pick up the phone and say, hey, Dad, what's going on? And I say, hey, my significant other just died and I'm crying. You understand that, right?
Yes, that's a good reason.
Now, if you pick up the phone and call me and say, Dan, how you doing? And I'm like, I just lost a game in Call of Duty and I'm crying, you're probably going to be like, okay, bitch, this show's over.
You might want to put the game down for a little bit and go out and get some reality.
Right? We didn't talk about that. And that comes from the Randy Moss crying about something John Gruden said. We didn't talk about John Gruden being fired or resigning. There's so much going on that we didn't get a chance to talk about. You literally could do it. The news cycle should be hopping, even though we didn't talk about CNN being down 40% in viewership.
But keep on going down. Keep on going down.
Right? It's like, we didn't talk about any of that. We didn't really, and we touched on so many things. So when you add that to the totality of what's going on, it's really kind of awe-inspiring.
Well, I think there's just, it makes me wonder why there's so much. It's like, if they're putting all this in front of us, what are they not showing us? It's kind of like there's got to be a bigger story behind it, and they're putting everything out in front of us to keep our attention, and they're doing a good job at it. So why are they doing it? What are they hiding? They're showing us this? What's over here? You know, that's a part of war. That's what you do. You put something right in front of the enemy for them to pay attention to while you sneak around and you get them in the back. You know, what are we missing?
Actually, that's taken directly from Sun Tzu's The Art of War, which is one of my favorite books. I recommend it to anybody. But no, I'm kind of wondering that too. It's like, what's coming down the pipe?
Something big, something, it's got to be something massive for them to be doing this, not just to us, but the world at large, the whole world
At the same time,
at the same time. What are they doing? What are they trying to hide from us? It's got to be huge.
well, I think the only thing here that's keeping Americans in check is fear of the federal government. But what happens when the federal government falls? And it's bound to happen. It happens in every country,
It does.
unless they rein it back in. I think the left has pushed too much, and they realize they've pushed too much. Maybe they'll rein it back in.
Well, some of them realize they push too much. Not all of them.
That is true. That is true. You still have AOC and oh, Brandon, look, I'm gonna do an AOC speech, right?
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, banana cream pies and mailboxes and snowmen and pumpkins and thank you very much, America. Because I made just as much sense as she makes, but she does all these hand wavings like she's actually saying something.
That's what Hitler did.
It's exactly what Hitler did.
Speak
Exactly.
loud, speak often, and people will believe you.
And you know what the worst part is? Hitler was gave a lot better speeches than AOC.
Oh
Put it like this: if AOC was Hitler, we'd have never had a World War II.
Well, you would have thought that she would have learned how to talk to people better by being a bartender, but apparently that failed.
Well, you've seen her childhood home, right?
No.
Oh my God, this thing is massive.
It's
It's massive.
must be rough to be oppressed.
It was. I imagine it was very hard on her. Yeah, I imagine it's very hard. But her house is massive. It's in a upscale gated area in New York.
It's horrible.
God, I hate New York. I'm serious. It's packed full of nuts. It's like a Snickers.
It is. It is. Well, it's not much better than Washington, Oregon, or California.
Yeah, but there's still hope for Washington, and
No, there's
there's
not.
still hope for Washington.
I don't think so.
No, I kind of agree with you. I think that's a done day. I think it's a wrap.
It's unless somehow Seattle sinks to the bottom of the ocean, Washington's out of luck.
Hey, if that last earthquake, the last big earthquake we had hit right, it would have been at the bottom of the ocean.
That's true. Or Mount Rainier goes off. It might just solve all the problems.
Well, I tell you, brother.
It's horrible. Horrible to think about. Horrible to talk about. It is what it is. It's though because what is it? It's California, Oregon, and Seattle are all being destroyed by 6 cities, 7 cities.
Well, it's you know what though? Here's the thing though. It's pretty much the same down here in Texas. I mean, we're being overrun by Austin and Houston and Dallas, and we'll sit here and watch the news every morning, and you look at the crime, and it's all in Austin, Houston, and Dallas, all the liberal cities, because they're not punishing crime.
Exactly.
They got all these liberal prosecutors who I think need to be brought up on charges for dereliction of duty, put against the wall. But they're, how do I put this? They're not doing what they're supposed to do, and they know it, but they don't care because it usually doesn't affect them. But sooner or later, if you allow this stuff to go on, it's going to come for you too. Look at the mayor of Portland.
Mm-hmm.
When he's supporting BLM, then they tried to burn down his condo.
Too bad they messed up.
That's the only time I was cheering for BLM. It's like, get in.
It's just insane. It's insane. But that's why I moved away. And if Florida ever went that way, pray to God it doesn't. I'll be out of here too. I'll go move somewhere to the south and somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, and I'll just let fucking burn down.
I was thinking the same thing, man. It's like I'll move to the desert. Hey, let me ask you a question, and we'll cut off with this. Let me ask you a question. What's the temperature today where you were?
Right now it's 84 degrees at 6:45 p.m.
You guys must have had a cold front come through.
It was horrid.
We had one too, and it dropped down to 86. You know what the temperature is right now? You know what the temperature is right now where we left?
Where? How much?
32 degrees.
Woo! Oh, 32. Never again.
You know what the gas prices are?
What is it
The
right
gas
now?
prices are almost $5. I think we made the right decision.
Average gas price. Tacoma. That is showing is $3.50.
It was already over $4 by the time I left.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's not too
That
bad.
was one of my big things for getting out of there. In Seattle, the average gas price, because I was in signings in Seattle, the average gas price.
Oh, right
was
there, look at that.
$4.94.
The average price is $4.07 between Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue area.
It's and that's taking off the Seattle average. It was crazy.
That is insane. And let's see, like Florida. We'll just use a big city, Tampa, Florida. $2.99.
Ooh, that's actually kind of high for you guys, isn't it?
It is a little bit right now. We were sitting just like $2.40 a little bit ago.
Well, it's not like
Dallas.
it's not like corn pop Biden that's going to make anything cheaper.
And Dallas is $2.96. Yeah, $2.90, $2.80. Yeah.
Well, you've seen everybody down here is complaining about the gas prices, and I'm like, you guys have no idea.
No, they have no idea. If they had to be paying $4 or $5 a gallon somewhere else, that means I think Dallas might have Texas have a revolution on their own.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Civil war in Texas. Hey, Brandon,
All right,
let's go ahead and wrap it up.
let's do that. Well, thank you,
Want to do the
everybody.
closer?
Yes, and thank you everybody for stopping by and watching the Dan and Brandon Presents the Underground News. We appreciate you coming. Every time you come, please stop by, drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you would like us to talk about. If you have any friends or family or otherwise that could use this information, please share it with them. Let's help us help people learn better ways, that the world's not just like what is in their neighborhood. What do you say about that?
I completely agree. Especially if your friends are liberals, let's help educate the liberals.
Educate them, because it's not their fault. If you grew up in one spot, how many people have never traveled more than 25 miles away from where they're born? So where they believe is the whole world is just like that area. I'm sorry if you grew up in shit and everything in right around you is shit, but you drive 200 miles and it's going to be a little bit better. It just is. Go somewhere else and see what it's like. It's different. It's not like these horrible cities. The whole country is not like those horrible cities. It's just those little cities. It's just true. I mean, it's fucked up. I don't know. We'll leave it at that.
Good night, Moab, New Mexico.
Well, even the Mexicans are stopping invading the country. They're like, you know what? They can have it. That's why all the other people from other countries are coming here.
Right? We're like, yeah, you're gonna fall for that?
Yeah, have fun. Oh shit. All right. Thank you guys for stopping by. Goodbye.
Good night, Moab.
Moab.
Hey, Brandon, give me a call on my phone.
Yeah, let me figure out how to turn this stupid thing off. There we go. Make controls. There it is. I'm sure.